Thank you for sharing your Wednesday night with me. I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer of JB Bryan Financial Group, one of the first and one of the few Black-owned, 100% Black-owned registered investment advisory firms on this planet. And I am so thankful for your support of what we do and making it possible. Because if it weren't for you supporting what we do, then I wouldn't be here and be able to say that we're pioneering this effort on getting rid of the wealth gap in our community. So that is so, so powerful. Ms. Beecham, your name is like loud and proud up in the middle. Like, that means you have to talk. Look, I have a poll that I put up, and Mr. Travers, your mic is open too. I can tell whose mic is open and who's going to change the world. You have a responsibility, actually. We have a responsibility to change the world. So tell me why so many people feel. The polls had over almost 80% of the participants tonight said that they expect their income to be higher next year. Is that because their income was lower this year, or it's because their income was good and they expect it to go up? What do you think? Because that's why we have to be so careful of what we see in the numbers when they're presented to us on television. Like, if I was just making a news story out of it, what would I say? I'd say those who are surveyed, our survey says that almost 80% of those, 80% of those say their income is going to go up next year. You're like, well, who are you polling? Who am I polling? I'm polling most likely very successful people who have good jobs or are retired. We have to go and make sure that when we look at information, and that's what you have me for, and that's what I've committed to, is that we look at the fine print and we really look a little bit farther. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
That's right. That's right. And Mr. Travers, what were you going to say? I don't know. I heard him say something, and then he said, and then he didn't say anything. I can't believe it. Huh?
Hi, JB.
How you doing? What do you say? Do you think everybody's going to be making more money next year? What's your viewpoint?
I was just looking at from my standpoint. I expect, for my income to be higher.
That's good.
Because I'm looking at, investments and, those kind of things. So I'm looking at, getting a good rate of return.
That's right. That's great.
Miss Certified Financial Advisor.
That's funny. Wouldn't that be funny?
Put you on blast.
Right? You'd be like, well, that's really up to you.
Since you opened it up, put you on blast.
And that's all right. I can take it. I mean, that's a very good point. People could be relying on their investment income to bring their income up. They could be, saying that they have their own business. So like yourself, and they feel like they can generate the additional income by meeting a particular need that may be growing, even though some industries may be losing money. So not everybody. Do you have an opinion, insight, Ms. Davis? Like, what do you think from a government perspective? Because I have, some of you work for the government. Many of you have retired from the government. But I have government information from the Congressional Budget Office that says that the government is going to be cutting some jobs. Anybody agree with that, or anybody thought about that?
Yeah. Can you hear me, JB?
Yes, indeed.
Can you hear me, JB Bryan?
Yes. How you doing, Jimmy?
All righty. Well, I work here at the post office. I say my income gonna go up because you notice we've been on the news, and I think they they gave like 25 million. I think we going back to postal banking, but it's gonna be preparing for like this cashless America to as more digital, because it used to be postal back in what 1911 to 1967. Then they did away with it, but I think it's coming back.
So like
And postal banking.
postal banking. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't really see coming. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, they gave us a little bailout of 25 million. But I think
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that's gonna go towards bringing back postal banking.
Okay. Well, I'll have to
And
look into that. Like,
mhm,
the well, there's definitely a lot more technology and a lot more banking is done over technical systems. But I was wondering, like,
yeah.
do you think that the post office is going to be cutting employees, or do you think they should?
Mm, I don't think we're gonna. I think we just gonna get prepared for for the future.
I
Like I
mean, they
say,
got to
for
do something. They just wasted $1 billion. You know what I mean? I'm just joking.
yeah, yeah.
Hope it wasn't a
But you know,
waste. But
but you know, we
I'm
like
like, a
a
billion
four.
dollars for the post office? My
Yeah, but
goodness.
we kind of set up for, not for to be making all that profit. We kind of set up like a church, 204B.
Hmm.
We just kind of
Hmm.
we just supply mail to everybody, whether they rich or poor, and
That's right.
going into this digital cashless America. I think we gonna make sure we don't leave the
Okay.
old people behind. So
Okay.
with you going to this cryptocurrency
Okay.
and all that stuff. Yeah,
So you're saying it's still like the cheapest way to do to get your mail delivered. But
yeah,
I feel like a lot of the money spent this year on and making the post office an issue this year was
mhm,
proof to us how politicians can waste money when you see that Social Security is projected, like by their own numbers, to run out of money, within
mhm,
less than 20 years. So I've been giving you money and they're promising us that they're going to run out of money, but yet we still want to put this over here. It's amazing, um, where egos get involved and they lose sense of the voters and, what we actually need, as a people. It's amazing. I
yeah.
also, they said, anyone else have an opinion on if the government, they think that the government is going to be cutting their staff or not?
I think so. This is Chris. I think basically because of the virus, it's going to probably force people out to some degree. Um, I'm working right now. It's semi-federal government, and there's I guess, a policy out now. They took a vote. The Office of the Surgeon General says it's an
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable risk to bring too many people
Mm-hmm.
back, and so they took a vote, and it's based on the dollar. You know, basically based on the almighty dollar, you're going to
That's
be
right.
considered collateral damage, and because they're going to be bringing more people back than they should be bringing back into some of the government facilities. That's what's going to
Mm.
be a little nightmare, I do believe.
No,
Mhm.
I did. And the thing about it is, like, if you go to this is the Congressional Budget Office um, website, cbo.gov,
Mhm.
and they have, information. They
Mhm.
know that 2021, they're projecting what 2021 is going to look like these
Mhm.
are the interest rates, so if somebody tells you, like, I've had a lot of clients I'm trying to help through making sure that they're doing the right thing, and a lot of the lenders are like, rates are going up, you know what I mean? We don't really have any evidence of that. We actually, the Federal Reserve just
Yeah.
released information last week
Hmm.
suggesting that they're going to do everything they can to keep rates down. So I think that whenever anything is anxious, when you're feeling pushed, when somebody is trying to get you to do something very fast, that's when you slow down.
Mhm.
That's when we need to be very careful. When you find yourself following the herd, doing what everybody else is doing, I would say, like, when you're following the herd, those cows are doing what? They're pooping along the way.
Mhm.
Horses and cow will drop SHIT
Mhm.
along the way, and you're following them. What are you doing? You're stepping in it,
Smelling and stepping in it.
especially if you're running and you're too close and you're doing whatever they're doing. And that's what happens we tend to get involved and follow the herd because we feel like, oh, that's what they're doing, whoever they are, and it's really sad. The, that's assuming Andrea was saying about the current administration might privatize USPS. The and then it comes down to like certain priorities, because sometimes, like in politics, they'll like make us personalize things. Like, how about it might actually possibly be better for those employees if it was privatized? Maybe they might actually get better benefits, better time off, better things. I have very few people that work for the post office that think that it's the greatest place on earth to work. There are many things about businesses that do outperform many government entities. And of course, I have a bias because, I believe in corporate. I wouldn't say that my ideology is to support like a huge government, but I feel that the government should provide things like making sure that people have a living wage, making sure that everyone has health care, and that making sure that we have all of the things that we need for public access bridges, schools. We should have public colleges and things like that. But to me, that doesn't mean that we have to have a large government. It just means that government can focus on the things that they should provide, like education, health. That those are what, to me, basic needs, and our protection and judicial system. But they've gone way outside of that, and that's where it gets pretty expensive. How are you, Maurice? Yes, indeed. And then Mike said, isn't the post office already privatized? No.
No,
Mm-mm.
hey,
It's,
JB, Bryan.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're not privatized, but they want to see, while us not being privatized, see, we don't have to be worried about making all that profit. See, they privatize it, then we have to make profit. See, because we don't really get money from the people.
Mm-hmm.
Our money really coming from our products and stuff, so we don't pay property taxes. We don't do all that stuff because we're exempt from a lot of that. But they want to
Okay.
privatize us, so we'll start making all that profit. But
That's right.
I would say, yeah, the post office is a good thing because when you come in, your retirement already funded way ahead of time.
Oh,
See,
and Maurice
you
is
know,
saying that if going private makes them easier for them to lay you off, to
right?
fire, or take away benefits. And
Exactly.
that's
That's
a
what I
good
think.
point. But
Mhm.
also, it's becoming harder and harder for us within the government to get the step ups and get into progress like we deserve, even in the government. I know people personally who had to actually sue the government for discrimination to get their raises and to get their step ups as deserved. So, how
Now,
you
I think
doing,
what they
Mr.
probably
Davis?
do, I think
Mhm.
what they probably gonna do, with this, probably offer like a retirement package for the older people to get them out, and then I don't think they're gonna lay off. We probably hire people with a lower pay,
Mm.
bring more workers on with lower pay, so to
And
save
that
money.
would
Cause
be, yeah, and that would be horrible. I mean, I really believe that um, we need to have affordable living wages. I don't believe that we should be, um, living the way that we are, like that people should be working 36, 40 hours a week and still be, not, like this. I will show you, it was showing that how 25,000 for a family of four is not considered poverty.
That's not?
No, that's 25,000 for a family of four. They said it's $15 an hour. So at least they're getting a living wage. So, but a person on the minimum wage working the 36 hours a week, most likely not with any benefits. That's what's really sad about. They don't, we are living in a country, where both political parties could care less about people having a minimum wage. I mean, a living wage. a living wage, y'all. We'll have to. Oh, Mr. Robinson, I was trying to promote you, and it's saying that your Zoom won't let me open up your mic. Wow. The
Well, I can tell you this, JB, is the face of the workforce is rapidly changing. It's moving into this cloud environment where legacy is no longer going to be valid in the workforce. So they're going to have to, they're doing it. They're pushing people out that do not have the skill set, and they're hiring
That's right.
younger people with the skill set.
That's right.
And they're finding that sending people home, we're working longer hours at home.
That's right. Yes, I know that. I know for a fact, for me, I have been in this spot working since my first appointment was like 8 o'clock this morning. It's 8. Yeah, I think I may have like taken 20 minutes to eat some lunch. I urinated somewhere in there, a couple times. That, but literally, it's nonstop. But if somebody doesn't, if they're working somewhere and they're doing that, like, I don't get it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know that you can't do that. Like, I tell my staff myself, that's my name on the door. You don't like, you can't do that to yourself, and not have ownership. And you're right. I think that some of the accountability requirements for the working from home have increased so much because their lack of control. You're talking about most of you work in an environment where they have to control everything about you. They got cameras and everything. Now they can't control you. So that's why I think so many people probably feel that they have to work more, because they said, what can we do? Well, we have to make them fill out more paperwork. We have to make them make more reports. I mean, is that what you're feeling now? Are you seeing now?
No, it's trying to catch up with the technology and environment that's out there. They're going to a pay for performance kind of environments. I know where I am in federal government, they are switching over to pay for
There you go.
Pay for performance. And
That's
the people
corporate.
that do not perform will lose money. They will have to give up their
That's
pay.
what I'm saying. They want more control, but that is definitely a corporate environment. And then corporations, so they want more productivity reports. That's how they're going to keep up with your performance, like you said. So they'll use, your technology will say how many you talked to today, or how many transactions you took care of today, or how many forms you processed, today. So and then your compensation will be connected to that. Yes. And I looked at some research, and across the board, the larger incomes, the larger salaries are connected to bonuses and performance-based things to get that total compensation. So you're feeling that in the government now. And that's because they know that they have to increase their profitability. And how can they do that? That's by connecting that performance. That's interesting. But yet, remember, the majority of you said you expect to make more money. Ms. Witherspoon said, what's happening to my old coworkers? More work and more micromanaging. Exactly. I hear clients talking about that too, where more people are just daydreaming about retirement, even working from home. It's like, this is ridiculous. And Ms. Worsley said, postal system was established as a service to all people. If it is privatized, will it still be available to everyone regardless of income? That's what Jimmy was saying. It's the one way where someone, with only 40 cents can send something. No,
yeah, because we can give to the poor and the rich. It don't matter what their income is. We serve everybody from trailer homes to mansions.
And the fact that the postal service is still going to every neighborhood is amazing. Everywhere. They go everywhere. They go places They go places like the pizza delivery people don't want to go. They deliver everywhere.
Now
But
watch
it's
this here,
not to
JB.
say, uh-huh.
Now I was just gonna say, watch this.
Okay.
They were saying, they trying, they was saying that about the elections, with they taking up all these boxes. But the thing is, man, we've been taking up these blue boxes long time ago.
So like what they were saying, like that's a movement to hurt, the poor people. They already were doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
or the
the blue
election for
boxes
the
were,
election purposes. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I thought so
Yeah.
too. I thought so too. I
Well,
know. We have to be careful.
I was floored when they put all the technology in the main post office and cut down the number of hours that they had people that you could talk to.
Black
Yeah.
black
What
businesses
yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
black
that's
businesses are really hurting right now because of what's going on with the post office. So
Mhm.
them a lot of packages and stuff are being held up and being delayed, and the post
mm,
office, because it's a public service and people have more access to be able to send stuff to the post office, it would be like it's going to hurt a lot of people more than it will help, and especially black businesses
Right.
who are now suffering because packages are not being delivered.
in a timely
They're not being
manner.
delivered timely, and like I
Yeah.
ordered a package from a small black business maybe like 2 months ago, and it's being held up, and it's not her fault. um and it's just, we really have to not, I think
Mm,
at this time point, like, we're seeing
mm,
all this upheaval, but organizations and corporations that are not people centered and service centered, they're going to crumble
mm,
at this time, because people are now
mm.
looking for something different. So I
Well,
think that
well, well, I'm gonna
in this short
say
period of time,
that's right. Uh-huh.
yeah, that's about it. That's all I want to say.
But I mean, that's a very good point. And then I feel like that we have to make sure that we go that extra mile in order to survive. Like this is that time where only the strong survive. So if I send something to a customer and it's 2 months later and they still haven't received it, what should I do? And this is open for everybody. What should I do? And the customer hasn't received it. As a business owner, I need to have another one on the way to that customer immediately. And that's why
But you can't, when you have another one that's on the way and then it's held up, like that's a lot of inventory. So that can hurt small businesses. So yes, on a business level, it would make sense, like you replace the product. But what if every product that you send out is delayed, and then the next one you send out is going to be delayed again?
that's
So
right.
the small businesses are hurting. So it's like you
They have
can't.
to know what they have to do is make sure that you charge for it appropriately. You know what I mean? If you want this, I need to make sure that I insure it. And I need to factor that into my price. And that's the important part of, and I'm only saying this because in order for us to succeed as black businesses, we have to have a no excuse attitude. I have to say I do a stock trade for a customer, and I do it incorrectly because of a computer system problem, or the trade doesn't go through because of, the power goes down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I still have to take that hit. You have to take that hit. So if this is the way that it is, like if this is the way it is, like we have to actually realize, and this is like, I remember one day, and this lady was, she went to Harvard Business School, and she was the keynote speaker, and I was real young in business, and she was the keynote speaker, and she said that Walmart got mad at her because she didn't have her product on the shelf in time. And her point was, how dare they be mad at me because I'm a black business? And everybody in the room was like, I know, Walmart is wrong. They're crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, Do you know how many other Black businesses want that space on their shelf? And they're sitting there reserving that space for your shelf. Do you know how many people would have got in their car? You know what I'm saying? Do you know how many times, Ms. Witherspoon, I have had to pay to overnight something and actually lose money because I had to overnight it. By the time I overnighted it, there was no money to be made. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like something I had told somebody they bought a book. And I just keep there sitting, put it off. You know what I mean? And I haven't sent out the book. I have to send it overnight because I have to have a commitment. So what I'm saying is there is no way that person, that business owner should feel that it is okay. So what she should have done is when she sent it with the post office, they have insurance. Y'all right? Isn't this right?
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They have insurance.
Yes.
And you only got to pay like $1.20 extra, and she could get probably less than $1, and she could get all her money back for whatever is not, you know, that's in that product, that's in there. She could have probably got back more than what it was worth. But she's got to do what she's got to do to insure it. Knowing that she has the insurance, she's not going to go out of business because all she got to do is go to the post office, file the claim. They can track the package. But I'm going to tell you, too often we blame things on something that we actually could have controlled. So,
Right, JB.
Uh-huh.
Can I just say this here? Basically, what you're saying is we gotta be sovereignty of our own business and hold. Almost kind of like an example of what the shooting going on, and they shoot down a lot of Black men and all that stuff. And they say, you know, it's like playing chess. You say, okay, just put high insurance on these brothers, so when they kill them, the cops got to pay a lot of money. And
Amen.
You start shooting. So you saying basically it's in your hand. You got to be sovereignty of your own business.
That's right. We got to. You got to. When I was on Facebook and I did a presentation, and it was for Black men, and these white men got mad at it and told me, and they wanted to kill me. What did I do? What did I do? Look, I got my own personal insurance, right? Y'all know it is, right?
Yeah.
You got to take responsibility for your business, yourself, and how in the world do you think that you, Ms. Witherspoon, have to take the hit because of what she didn't do for her business? You don't have to sit there. Your money is gone. She has your money. That business has your money for that product that you haven't received for 2 months. How about you? How about you? So our economy is going to struggle until we take, you know what I mean, responsibility for that. But to think that this little PPP and payroll protection and government support and the post office did it to me and this is so horrible, you know what I mean, is going to help us build sustainable businesses, it ain't gonna happen. Only the strong survive. See, we live in a society that like wants us to think that, you know, you're going to build this business and then you're supposed to depend on some sort of government contract to always make sure that you eat. It's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen. So stocks have advanced. The stock market is up. Stocks are doing great. And how many times have I told y'all that we have to be more diversified? Now, y'all know I've said this, but everybody that runs a commercial and tells us that we need to go out there and get residential property and rent this out, now what's happening? Now what's happening? The government says, if you got a government loan on your little rental property and you went out there and you financed it, you can't put those people out on the street. So Do you think they're saying that to the people in the stock market? My clients in the stock market are making mad money. It's okay to have it, but we have aggressively, people have spent more money to do just real estate videos that I could have done in one membership meeting to just discuss, you know what I mean? I mean, $500, $1,000 to go to these making money quick on real estate, how to buy properties with no money down. You know what I mean? And never once did they tell you, you better diversify because this stuff gonna change. This thing could change. These people might not pay the rent. You might have, you know what I mean? This is, and as we've always said, always having an emergency fund. But is this not amazing? You do not have to be paid rent. And the market is racing up. Racing up.
Hey, JB.
Yes.
It's getting ready to change in the next 30 days. That's getting ready to change. They're expecting, evictions, to be in the millions.
Wow.
They can't do it though.
Yes, they can. The government has said, okay, we put it off for 4 months, and okay, we're not gonna do it anymore because
guess who said today they can't do it? That this is gonna blow your mind. Guess who said it?
CDC.
The CDC.
Oh, really?
Tell them, Mr. Hollis. I'm telling you, today, the Center of Disease Control said, we are stopping evictions. You cannot put these people on the street. We cannot have COVID out like that. And we do not need people in shelters because they do not need to be collected. Isn't that something? Our numbers for COVID are still very high. So here they are, Mr. Travers.
Yeah.
They talking about through the rest of this year.
Yeah,
People
well,
are gonna lose.
well, Dr. Fauci just had an operation on his throat. I mean, things happen, and I mean, this is not, I don't see this as where they're looking out for the people. They could care less about the people and the property that people that own the property, whether they get paid or not, whether they go out get stuck with property that they can't make any money on. They don't really care about that.
Well, the only reason why they don't care is
making profits out of this, so they really
some people
care
can
less.
make money off of that. They
So
can
true.
turn those properties over.
So true. Because
who?
anybody that has a mortgage is going to really, Ms. Bullock, they're probably just clean up from the bank because you can't sell it. You can't sell it to somebody who had a mortgage. They can't sell it. You know what I mean? Because the bank really owns it. And the people who have the mortgage are the ones that can't, because really the connection is to that federal government loan. So if you own the property, I bet you could actually, if they had to, they could evict them because it's like, this is my property. But if it's a government-backed loan,
we'll see what happens in the next 4 weeks. Just keep your eyes on it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, JB, what's your thought about the paycheck tax deductible that they doing? Yeah, it's supposed to have started yesterday.
Started today. Yep, yesterday. That's right. Well, definitely. And we have a video in the library that I did an interview with CBS about that. And the key part there is for people working is to remember that it's a deferment. And that Trump is promising that if he wins, he will make sure you don't have to pay it back. But it's just a deferment. So people, will have to actually catch it up in January. So they need to really be, cautious on that. But that basically, can bring up, their check about a person making $1,000, they'll make about an extra $60 every pay period so they'll be bringing extra 100 home, for the rest of the year. But
they putting that responsibility on the employers though, right?
Well, we put in, the employee puts in 6.2%, and they're only doing it on that Social Security portion, on, that federal portion, the 6.2, and then the employer matches it by 6.2. but you still have to carry like the Medicare. There'll still be some expenses, but it's going to go down by 6.2 as far as you're concerned. The employer matches what you put in. And then, but what's hurting is that that goes into the Social Security bucket. That money, that payroll tax money, that is for Social Security, the Social Security trust that is already hurting. So, you know, they're going to have to fill it up. So they said, well, Trump, like, how you going to fill it up? He said, well, I'm going to take it from the general money.
Oh, wow.
So, and they can do that. They can do that. But how much that is really going to help, you know, that payroll tax, like it's, you know, I mean, but I mean, if you need, and it's only going to help people that already have a job. So it's really just a move to stimulate the economy, to give you more money to spend, to keep the stock market up, keep you buying things, keep you ordering stuff. And it says look at this. Someone said that, Ms. Muhammad said that in Virginia, the governor has extended the no eviction until April 2021. Wow, how you doing, Mr. Hernandez? I look forward to it.
Hey,
yes.
So they expect people to repay these mortgages and things from these extensions?
Oh yeah, all of it's got to get paid. Oh yeah, this is, and then the mortgages are the hard part because you have to talk to the lender. Like if people put off their paying their government mortgage loan, then you have, you know, it's just put down. Your payment is put to the end of the loan, or you can either catch it up. But this one couple was like, we only need to talk to you because they took advantage of it. And then they wanted to talk through the options, but they had like by some particular short-term period, you know, in order. And that's the benefit of like already having a relationship, so that it's better to have me and not need me than to need me and not have me, because you don't want to meet your financial advisor at a time of crisis. You know, that's not really how you develop things. So, but yeah, most of these things are just delays, just deferrals. It's just also with the evictions. So the hard part is that they can't evict you, but they're adding up your total. So if a person is taking advantage of it, you know, it really could hurt, because once it is released, they can have so much money that they have to catch up that they'll have to move out just because they can't pay the penalties. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Joe? Like so indeed, like we have to be aware of, if you feel like, oh, I don't have to pay that, so I'm not, like people who have their school loan that does not have to be paid back, that you can skip the payments. This is the most important time to continue to make the payment, because the payment you can direct totally towards the principal, while the interest is not being incurred. So strategy on this and making this work for you, you know, is definitely takes thought. Also,
so have they stopped? I mean, I guess because the interest is so low is what you're saying.
What do you, have they stopped? No. From my interpretation is that you've stopped incurring interest during this time. So everything has been turned off for this 90-day period. So we have to see when is that, and then, you know, you ought to help me on that, when the school loans will turn back on, but it's probably going to be soon. But, you know, it's best to just flow, especially if you have it, pay it. And I know it hurts, like it's like, why? But check this out. Another update I wanted to tell y'all about is that the Dow Jones Industrials actually had a change. Like they, you know, the Dow was made up of 30 stocks. Well, as of this week, that they added Amgen, Salesforce, and Honeywell International, and they traded out Exxon, Pfizer, and Raytheon Technologies are removed. And the story behind it is that that happened mostly because of the because of the Apple split. And because it's a index that is price weighted, and it forced them to make some change, because the Apple split reduced the impact of technology on the index and all of this. So they had to make those changes and see how they added in, like Salesforce.com, probably considered an energy, considered a technology, and then the Amgen, a pharmaceutical, and the Honeywell International Industrial Company. So the but they had to, that's what they do. But we don't, that doesn't happen as often as we think, that the Dow components are switched around. But when do we really just think about what's in the Dow? We look at it as an entity of itself, but it's not. But it's,
I'm glad you mentioned it. I guess by looking at it, you can kind of see where the world is going. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm gonna look into that now, because we really moving into an AI world.
That's right. That's right. Or technology. You know what I mean? In general. And
We're in
I
the
mean,
AI world right now.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
We're in the AI world
It's
right
true.
now as we're
It's true.
communicating.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean like our whole Zoom experience?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
transhuman.
look how Zoom stock has gone up.
Yes. Well, because we've been forced, you know what I mean? It is like, basically, it is my office. I start my day, I log in Zoom with my assistant, it's amazing. Whoever thought, right? Whoever thought? But, definitely, the win goes to those who are already in the game. Like, and it relates to like so much in your life. That's why I'm telling y'all, the key is diversification. But I remember when I purchased my home gym, and I thought to myself, like, why in the world do I have the home gym? Do you know that I could sell my home gym right now and make 3 times as much as what I put in it? I never in my life thought that it would actually, you know what I'm saying, pay off like that. Like, people can't find like weights that, even for their hand and stuff like that. Like, and I used to be an avid, like, go all the time, and I'd be like, walk right past my own gym. Now it's like, that is how I start every day. But if somebody had told me last year that, you know what, you're going to get your money's worth out of that, believe me, but the only reason it's of benefit to me is because I already had it. So I feel like if we do the right thing long enough, it will always pay off. Like, just say, there's times, and I feel that as business owners, and even more, and I wish I don't know if did I finish that story about the lady. She won that award, like the lady with the dolls. She had black dolls, and they were putting them in the Walmart store, and she didn't have her dolls ready on time, and she was like disgruntled and mad that Walmart was complaining about what she was doing. Needless to say, she got this is very necessary to say, actually, she received a big loan for her business, something that they would have never given to me. And I'm telling you, this was like 25 years ago. There's no way they would have given it to me. So she got all this money to get those dolls, to make those dolls on time. And she almost basically, if we looked at the research, she's fundamentally put the biggest historic bank, Black-owned bank, out of business, contributed to it tremendously. She did not pay that loan back.
Oh.
Now, when I'm sitting there, Ms. Bullock, and I'm sitting there in the audience, I already would have known, why would you loan money to somebody just because they have a Harvard degree? Why would you loan them money when they already told you they couldn't do the simple thing of getting that stuff on the shelf? If I had the opportunity to get something on the shelf at Walmart, y'all know what I would do, right? I'll put the things in the back of my car. I pay, exactly. You know I would, Mr. Joe. I would do it myself.
Yeah.
I get down there, I'll be sitting there, I put myself on the shelf. Look, dolls coming soon. They're coming. I'll be there every day. Dolls coming tomorrow. Here's a free sample. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot You cannot, we cannot. And then what happens is, who suffers from Miss Witherspoon not getting that in time? You know what I mean? Who suffers from that? All of us left behind. We suffer. So when I meet somebody, they don't halfway trust me because of what they've been through with them fast talking, degree having people who can't even just produce and get the package on time. So that our economy, a lot of it, by the grace of God, we can control. There are people who are doing very well right now. You know, and when I said that I've been here since 8 a.m. this morning, I would have it no other way. I know how blessed I am. I'm blessed to be able to work at my own speed, my own time, and serve people that I love. I love my people. I select my customers. I don't help just everybody. You know what I mean? There are people that I've prayed that God will remove them and take their heart another way. Because I love helping people with a loving heart. Like that is the blessing, and that's how blessed everybody should be, and that's how well we should be treated, because we are very loyal, supportive, and loving people. And if something happened to me today, I know how much you all would express and pray and everything and do anything to help me. Because you know what I'm saying? And how can someone want to disappoint that type of people? You know, and I don't know if y'all heard about, the man that I talked a lot about. I looked up to him, Robert Smith, and now he's under a federal investigation for $200 million,
Ooh.
and I admire him so much, and not just under investigation, but under criminal investigation, so, and I'm hoping that he will get through that. But the lesson is on it that we have to be very particular about how and what we do, and you can't shortcut anybody. It's not okay. It's not okay. And there's so many people who are shortcutting themselves because of this national pandemic, and it will blow up. It will just blow up in their face. It's going to blow up. Exactly. Ms. Muhammad said, unfortunately, she just fulfilled the old racist stereotype. Exactly. And we hurt each other. And we heard it. We hurt, you know what I mean? We hurt each other. Because when I look at you, I see me. When others look at me, they see you. We represent more than ourselves. And that is the blessing of being Black, but also the challenge of being Black. And that's why we feel it when a brother gets shot 7 times in the back, and they have the luxury of saying, well, they see each other one by one. We see each other as a community. That's what Ms. Davis articulated to me the other day so well. You hear me, Ms. Davis? Exactly. She said, we're communal. I said, yes, we are. I'm listening. And but that is our blessing. But when we serve each other, we have to also remember that, that when I serve you, I'm not just serving you, I'm serving the whole community. When I hurt you, I harm you, I disappoint you, I'm not disappointing just you, I'm disappointing our whole community. And let me make sure, I want to close out, as I had key points. So I wanted to talk about the Dow. I wanted to talk about the Dow is up. The S&P is up dramatically for the year. The NASDAQ is up dramatically for the year. The Dow's not quite up for the year, but it's been moving well. And a lot of it is because, let me show you this article before y'all leave me. Love to show you references. Look at this. On this one, the Fed's new strategy could keep rates low for longer than you think. And this is all over the place. And this has helped. The Dow was up over 400 points today. Like this, since this was the 27th, and don't think that hasn't helped the market. And then it's saying that they're basically, their intention is that we feel that it's okay to keep interest rates down. Long-term strategy. And then I wanted to show this. Fed wants to boost jobs in low-income communities. So I'm reading it, y'all, and I'm reading it, and I'm researching, I'm reading it, and I don't see what they're gonna do. And then it says the Fed's new strategy emphasizes that its mandate to achieve maximum employment is a broad-based and inclusive goal. I think that is the most BS comment in the world. What is your strategy? Fed is making new efforts to target America's inequality problem. The gap between rich and poor has widened in recent decades. And then it says a broad-based inclusive goal. Well, what is it? And it still doesn't say anything. I'm telling you, y'all can read this. I don't see anything that it's saying that it's going to do in order to make this happen.
That's the strategy.
Right? Right? It says the Fed stopped short of embracing a numerical goal such as 5% unemployment. They said, nah, we're not going to give you any specifics. We just want to tell you that what we want to do, and we don't know how we're going to do it, but we just want to tell you that what we want to do, and then we want to just bring it to your face and then let you know that we know that what we know, we know. I mean, seriously, it is the most ridiculous crap I've ever seen.
So they're stringing you along until whatever.
I know. Until it appears that they're streaming us along until the majority, the same rich people, say, hey, we're good, you can do this now. And there's this thing between, if this virus, you know what I mean, is important enough, for us to continue to stop, businesses, and do we really need to keep these people inside? So I guess it's more of a control issue, that they have to help the poorest among us, because they have to make sure that they can control them and keep them inside. You see, I think that might be the gist of it, the reason behind it. That it's like, and then when they don't need to worry about you being inside, then I'm gonna let you lose your home because you're so behind, and I'm gonna let you sleep on the street because it won't matter, and I'm gonna let you stay in these, shelters because it won't matter, because the Fed did not say, I'm gonna make a federal mandate that these companies must pay people at least a minimum wage. I mean, a living wage, a living wage. And they know it. And they know it. The minimum wage and our living wage, there's about $5 difference in there. Everybody needs to be making at least $15 an hour to be having a living wage. And it's not happening. I was looking at some research, and it did on people in Baltimore after they finished their college degree. And the study found that 6 years after completing their college degree, these Baltimore residents still did not have a living wage. 6 years after. And then we have, all of this, that debt, the debt. There's no program that helps people go to college. I thought that somehow, that people, if they didn't have money, that they would get grants and stuff like that. But unless you go to you find a community college or a very inexpensive school. But if you're talking about going to a HBCU or something like that, unless you have some money, you're going into some serious school loan debt. And then if there's a movement towards the community colleges being affordable and free, then you know what that impact is going to have on HBCUs. People aren't going to go. You know, they're going to go, well, I'm going to go over here. I mean, I would say probably already the biggest competitor to HBCU is the community college. Wouldn't you think so? And soon the community colleges will be free. So we're going, that is definitely, I think that we're going to have to figure out a way to reconnect and help our young people see, the true value to them as a Black person by going to the HBCU. Because the last time I went to speak at the HBCU, they were telling me that I could only come during Black History Month because I was talking about AfroEconomics. And I said, but this is an HBCU. And they said, yeah, but we have a lot of white students, and isn't that sad? Said, so they don't know it's an HBCU. like, I mean,
Wow.
isn't that the point? You know what
I
I'm
know
saying?
that is
Like,
true.
that they wanted to come, like, you know what I mean? They like Black people. Obviously, they came to the school. Like, why would they have a problem with AfroEconomics? And
It goes against the
that,
curriculum. It goes against the general curriculum. I mean, HBCUs have the same general curriculum as any other school that has, a white student population that's the majority. It's no
that's
different.
right. That's right.
That's true.
But
In all of
but
my science
Black
classes,
school,
I
they're the
learned
minority.
that
but if I
in
went
European
to
history.
my school, where I went undergrad, and I said, hi, University of Virginia, I would like to do, you know what I mean, this AfroEconomics and talk about it, like, they would receive it greatly. You know what I mean? White people love when I talk about AfroEconomics. They enjoy it. They acknowledge it. It exists. You know what I mean? There's some who, of course, who are seriously racist. You know what I mean? And want to think that there are no, there is no, wealth gap. But when you look at that, if you have an appreciation of the impact of discrimination and how it has harmed our community, if you have any intellect and have read the history, you will appreciate AfroEconomics and the importance of it. And I don't care if it's a Black school or a white school, any intelligent individual will know that since we live in a society that's decided that they're not going to give us back what our legacy is owed, then this is how we're going to make it happen, by our own financial independence. And there is nothing in my book that suggests that I want anything from anybody or to stop anybody else's success. Our movement is about individual financial independence. That self-reliance, the second principle of AfroEconomics. That's all we represent. Wow. And Ms. Muhammad said, eventually we all get better, get prepared to return to our living together like we once did. The economy is not going to improve for the poor. There's really no more middle class. It's so sad. Yeah. And so many of the young people, the babies, our kids that are in schools, our school age kids, that's the ones I worry about, because that a lot of women are trying to figure out, like, and a friend of mine, and she happens to be a white female with 2 kids, and I was asking her, about next week when school starts, and she said, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'm sure there's a lot of sisters in that same situation. She's like, I don't know. I'm just taking it step by step. I said, are they going to go to daycare? And she was like, no, I'm taking the 8th off and I'm going to play it from there. That's so sad. Like, woo. So make sure you check this, check on your family, help those who, the have and the have nots could be a future. All right, sis. That I mean, and that's, but what we need to do, like, is take self-responsibility, protect yourself, stay healthy, and be mindful that any extra funds that you have right now need to be valued and invested correctly, and be mindful of everything that we do right now. Mindful of everything that we do. Any other questions before y'all leave me? Are you pleased with our economic thoughts? I had a
Yeah,
let's see.
I
I
got some.
had, yes indeed. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, just everybody be mindful and conscious of their credit score too, because with this
Mm,
FICO 10, you know, they got this new firm with FICO 10, everything being on your credit from your. Oh, can y'all hear me?
yes.
Oh,
Yes
oh,
indeed.
okay. From everything being on there, from the car loan, student loan
Mm,
to all that stuff, you know, a lot of people credit
yeah.
scores is dropping. So I would say everybody
That's
work
a
on
good
getting
point.
your line of credit up, because that's almost like emergency fund too. You know, your line of credit is like a easy,
That's
kind of
right.
like easy money. You know.
If you don't have anything else, right? Make sure you have money available on the credit card. Because if the credit card is full, you right, Jimmy. Like, pay it
Purchase
off,
assets.
pay it off. Yo, pay it off, and then you'll have that available to you. But if you have
Yes.
it and it's not, and you're keeping that, what I mean, balance, then, we really need to talk about that. Like,
Yeah, I say use it. I
how
mean,
much
kind of use it for purchasing asset that'll actually make you money. You know, make it
wouldn't that
available
be
for
nice?
purchasing asset.
And
Hmm.
then you got to be careful on that, because some people will purchase stuff and they go, I'm gonna make money from that, but they don't have any idea how much effort that takes. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, so if they have a full-time job, and then you're taking it and you're like, but I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make t-shirts every night. You know what I mean? You need to, make sure you maybe use the ironing board before you buy that 5,000 piece of equipment. You know what I'm saying? Just
Be
look,
real careful.
right, right.
Yeah,
Let's test it out, because you get so excited, like, you know what I mean. You go,
yeah.
I'm gonna do it every night. You know what I mean? And then you got that challenge there. Now,
Yeah.
and then you have the nerve to be hesitant to write it off on your taxes. I'm like, you buy a piece of equipment and it is for your business. That is a tax deductible expense. That is, but I don't know why we don't see ourselves as legitimate business owners when you're making these investments in the business. Whatever it is, if your tax preparer doesn't take your business seriously, then you need to get another tax preparer.
The
That's
investment is not in the Ferrari.
that's right. But if look right, Mr.
There
Joe
you
said,
go.
but that's right, because you can't write that off.
There you
You
go.
know, look, unless you rent it out, like you start having a luxury car rental company. You let
But we
people
do it.
look, but most people get a Ferrari and they don't want anybody to even get in it. You want to, let
There you
alone they be
go.
willing to rent it out, right?
All right.
They,
Hey, that tax write off. That's you call creating your own stimulus. You start creating our own stimulus
that's
instead
right.
of trying to wait for.
That's right. That's right. Yes, indeed. Maurice said, pay something to all your bills on time. Will maintain you in the green, no red. I know that's right.
And
All
I just want to say this one other thing too. You know, with the credit cards, you know, to kind of have your dollar keep up with the inflation. You know, they always say the dollar is losing value, but if you use those credit cards in a way to where you're using reward points and stuff
yes,
and cash back, that kind of can help keep up with the inflation of the dollar.
that's right. That's right. I have one that's connected to like hotel points, and I'm saving that up for me and my sweetie. I'm like, I try to remember to use it as much as I can, so that after COVID, you know what I mean, can travel, and maybe we'll be able to travel for free. But you're right, those reward, you got to have a strategy though. Got to have a strategy. And look, Andrea brought up a good point that credit card companies are lowering limits for some people, and then Like
Yeah,
they
but that
keep,
was with banks. That's why I said
yep,
folks to go with credit unions. Credit unions is the one during these times of adversity
the
like that.
Lord.
Credit unions are better.
And look, and I'm the opposite. I like the major banks because I feel like credit unions are so inconvenient that, but they're trying to get their technology up, but some of the credit unions will even nickel and dime you. And then, that like not making sure, if you're feeling like I got to make a deposit, make sure that they have the app, that they have all of the conveniences. You're right. And but you're right. And sometimes, but you wouldn't,
Shout out to Navy Federal.
that's right. Yeah, that's now Navy Federal. That's on a whole nother level. That's huge. They're probably bigger than like most of the banks now.
Yeah.
That is huge. They do everything. Federal credit unions, like, right? That's on a different level.
But Bryan, I know you say I just be like overly nice, but I think it was on the Parnell show when I was telling you that like with my American Express, I got a couple of my family members as users, but
Mhm.
I make sure that they pay at the end of the month, right? They full balance. So that's how I'm getting a lot of, like, I got
That's
over
right.
$1,000-something in points just
That's
because
right.
I'm helping at least about 5 or 6 people in my family, and because I'm helping them build a credit
But Jimmy,
by
I have
adding
never accused you of being overly nice. That was some other woman.
them. Okay.
No, not at all. No, but that
I
is nice.
apologize for that.
They should look. They should know. They know you. Like, they look. Don't say it on here. They might find out and stop paying you back. They'll be like, "Well, you just using us for points."
Yeah, I'll make sure that they're yeah,
Look, don't let them know. Like, that's what my mom would say to me. I like, if I would pay for lunch or something, you know what I mean? And she would go, "Well, you get to write it off." Like, and I'm like, "No, this is not a business meeting." You know what I'm saying? But she thought that every time I'm paying, that meant that, you know what I'm saying? That it didn't really
yeah.
matter. And I was like, even when I do pay for business meals, Mom, that's still my money. Like, it doesn't like fall
Right.
from the sky. Like, oh, that's taxi. And that's what they need to realize. Like, you're
But that's
still,
the key to giving. When they say when you
that's
give, you
right.
get blessings. But that's what that's how you got to look at it. Because I'm helping all them build their credit, and
That's
I'm just
right.
getting the
And that's the
reward.
blessing that you get back. That's right. And you're in a, and that's a blessing to be smart enough to figure out how it can help you. And I hear you, Miss Joe, back there.
I would not do that.
Exactly. That's okay. Joyce said,
Because when they don't pay it back, that's when the problem starts.
oh, she said, don't do that. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. You lose your friends. I'll be like, what
You lose
happened?
your breath, that's
Look,
it.
what happened to Jimmy? I saw him on the news stringing some people up.
Look, I just look at it from the perspective, where they got that thing to what they call it gifting, where everybody pays so much money into it and everybody get the big. I just use the credit card as that. So, but I do
That's
got
right.
my money stashed away just in case.
That's right.
Because you can't control the limit on how much they spend,
That's right.
stuff,
That's right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Whatever floats your boat. But I say, I definitely believe in Mr. Maurice. He said, pay something to all your bills. Pay them on time. What Joyce said, what a wonderful evening with so many positive and informative words for surviving the struggles of the president. President. Thanks so much. I want next week, I'm going to do it. I hope y'all see that poll that I just popped up.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that pop up. I just want to leave with a positive vibration of like I think
right.
I was talking earlier, I was kind of distracted, but we are like an extension of each other. And I always say the best book that you can read is another human being, because that's a book that hadn't been read before. So I just read a whole bunch of books by listening to all y'all. So we
That's
like an
so
extension
good.
of each other.
That's so good. That is
Yeah,
so
well,
good.
one person don't know, the other person know. Now we all know.
That's so good. But but I must tell you, you only read the good pages. I'm just joking. look, you only got the good part. Who is this talking about? I should make y'all talk. Andrea, you wrote too much. You should talk. I know your microphone's open. Say it, Andrea. The Mr. Robinson said, all right, family. Thank you. It's so good to see Mr. Robinson back in tonight. But Andrea said after 2009 collapse, large numbers of bank account holders closed their bank accounts and moved to credit unions. The banks were considered insolvent or close to. The banks were so threatened, they lobbied Congress to change the credit union charter to make them like banks. The banks. The to make the credit unions like the banks. Yeah, and the banks did well though during that collapse. Like Obama wrote the biggest check in history ever, and those banks, like, they did well and were able to pay that money back quick. And so I one thing I don't worry about is banks. Any of them, especially if you depositing, like, you're straight. And they increase the FDIC coverage. Like, even in my brokerage accounts, if I could put money in cash, the FDIC insurance is like over, we can go up to $1 billion in FDIC insurance on the cash portion now because of this national pandemic. I guess they were afraid that people would get afraid. So your FDIC insurance, which would stop at like 250,000, no. So they wanted people, I guess, to have a safe place, because they were like, what if I want to get out of this market, and then where can I put it? I can't put it anywhere. So it was like, no, you can put it here and you'll be all right, but there's a lot of protection. So those are the type things I want us to make sure we continue. If you ever are worried about, anything, I know this weekend on KISS and on a praise station, I'm playing my what are you worried about money? I don't feel like we should worry about money. We're not supposed to be worried about money. If you worry about money, we need to talk, because it means that you're, doing something wrong.
Hey, JB.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you think the number one, what do you think the number one thing is that keeps people broke? Do you think is taxes? Because if you it's about knowing how to play the tax game, or you think it's in it like, because a lot of folks think it's credit card debt number.
Yeah, but taxes never broke anybody, like, and even if people have to pay a lot of taxes, it's because they're making a whole hell of a lot of money. So
yeah, because they say you get taxes when you get taxed when you make money, when you save money, when you spend money, and when you die.
That's right. And that is, that's part of the Declaration of Independence. I think, they had like the right for taxation. But yet, they got rid of the English because they didn't like the tax that, the British were charging them on how they financed. Isn't that something though? This country was financed, and England said, I just want you to, just pay us back via tax. And they didn't want to do that. So, basically they killed them off. Isn't that something? And made them go away and broke loose. But like taxes are inconvenient, but taxes, if you're smart, we can always set up tax strategies and do tax planning. But what I believe that makes people broke are a commitment to materialism, and there's too much materialism that dominates our community. And and this, like, so if you have a $1,200 car payment, which we think is okay in our community, but you're only saving $100 a paycheck for your future. Think about it.
Preach.
Right. And then we think that that's okay.
I gotta have a bigger house than you have.
Yeah. Or or then when you get the house, then you feel like you need the new car, and then you need the new clothes. Exactly. And then we gotta have the red bottom, and we gotta have more that we have to have, and I get it, because we get treated poorly, and
Yeah.
we've been treated poorly. But
Yeah.
once you really get financially independent, you don't care what they think. You don't care. You know that you can walk out of that job and you and your family still gonna eat. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, but as long as you are the materialism and you buy into it and you owe this guy and you owe that guy and you owe this one, you're gonna be a slave. And some people are enslaved until they die, until they take their last breath. They are still enslaved. So our true freedom comes when your mind and you're able to rest and sleep, knowing that that you can take care of you and your family, and so I would say, if I had to choose one thing, I would say, a commitment to materialism. And and Maurice, like, yeah, the bad choices, and then Ms. Witherspoon said people are broke because the cost of living is higher than the average pay. Look, but we make a whole lot of more money than a whole lot of people. And there are actually people who are taking care of and saving with a family of 4 at $25,000 a year. So don't get me wrong, like, there are people that do it. And especially people that come from other countries, and they come in here and they look at the kind of money that we make, they're like, these people are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could they waste that much money? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the things, the money that we spend on, on things that are just pure luxuries. And we don't, what I mean, get it. Yeah, needs. Andrea said, like, needs versus wants. Maurice said the look at me syndrome. Because I believe, like, when I first started my business, and I remember, like, making a commitment to, my car was paid for. I wasn't, my office, I had an office and just so much unfortunate, stuff was going on at that time. I won't go into that, but because I was living so modestly, you know what I mean? I am still in business today. So that was 1995. The choices that I was making, because I'm telling you, if I had had a whole bunch of debt, I wouldn't have been able to use my credit card because there would have been no available balance. And there were times I had to use my credit card. And I had my own living expenses, and I had an office outside because I have to have a place for files. And if not, the regulators will come into my house. So I have to have a separate, place for security of client files, and that it has to be locked and it has to be a good place, and they can walk in at any time, any day, and get to your information. So the definitely, the sacrifice that took, and I think that first year, I went from working as a stockbroker, you know what I mean, to I paid myself maybe $15,000, for the year. Like, we can do it. You know what I'm saying? We can do these things. You can, make sacrifices and make things work. But if I was comparing myself, I remember one time, and there was this lady, and she was married, she was beautiful and everything, and she was like, I want you to come to this meeting. We're having this meeting, and it's for women in insurance, and it's at a golf course, and it's da-da-da. And I said, well, I don't have any money. And she said, oh, I'll pay for it. So it was just me and her. She was black, I was black, and a whole bunch of white ladies. And then they got to the part about paying for the meal. And she said, and looked at me for me to pay my own. And I remember that. I will never forget that. And I've gone to speak late, and I had to spend my last $20, you know what I mean, on paying for that lunch. And then I remember I've gone places speaking for that because she's still in the industry, you know what I'm saying, and everything. But I don't think she ever on that day thought that my name would really matter. She never thought I would be here. ever. I've been places and she's been like, ah, me and JB go back so far. You know what I'm saying? But one day, I'm going to talk to her about that. I can't believe she did that. And you know what she'll say? Oh, Debbie, you know what I mean? And that's been over 25 years, and I still remember that. Oh, I was hurt. I was that broke. I remember sitting in my office, you know what I mean? Like wondering how I was going to eat. And I remember, you know, this man calling me one day, and he said, what do you need? I'll give you anything. Just make sure, just spend the weekend with me. And I said, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that out of making those decisions to make sure that I made it independently, that I did not sell out my soul, and you know what I mean, and allow people who I knew did not want to do right by me, you know what I mean, to help me, to refuse help from people I knew were wrong. Like I knew that I'd be blessed, you know, and I don't want for anything, you know what I mean? And I'm surrounded by love now. Now, it took me 25 years plus to get here, but that sacrifices I made back then, you know what I mean, pay off to now. Because what if I had told that man, yeah, okay, just for comfort's sake? You know what I'm saying? I might be dealing with that decision today. So I'm telling you, like, we have to realize that it takes sacrifice. And when it doesn't, it will come back. And I have to say, it will bite you in your ass. It will tear you up. And when you feel yourself doing something wrong, you have to say, I know that this is not right. And if it's easy and it's convenient and it's comfortable and it's laid right there out for you, it's most likely what we need not be doing. We need not be doing. Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. So choices, indeed, choices. And if I had chosen materialism, you know what I mean, we wouldn't be together. Nobody gonna help me finance this.
Hey, can I share this here?
Yes, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Yes, indeed.
I don't mind sharing a little bit of my personal here, but remember, like I was struggling in the credit card debt, right? And remember I said I
oh my God, we are not, y'all. That's all right. We going, Jimmy. No, you cannot share that story.
Okay, I ain't gonna share.
You made
but I just want to say
you made
I'm
it
winning
through.
in a. Yeah, man, I'm glad I ain't give up because my bank account is starting to stack, man. That's a beautiful move, and
I can't believe you're gonna bring up that story.
Yeah, I was gonna
y'all need to know the Jimmy credit card story. This comes all the way live from the Carl Nelson show.
I listened to Carl, but I didn't hear that. Jimmy, I didn't hear that one. I listened to Carl. I didn't hear that one.
but the cool thing,
anyway, he paid them off in a way I don't suggest. Well, he loves bragging about the way he paid them off. But
but the cool thing is it set me up for like during this Corona time. Like everything is really, you know, rich folks like it around this time because everything is really on sale. Like, you know, like stock housing and land and all that stuff. But it got my credit score up to in the 800s, and but then like my bank account and stuff. So I think by me doing that long way before the Corona happened, coming into the 2020, you know, I think.
Well, the point is that when you're in AfroEconomics, you don't have to take out any loans. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't even be looking at that. You know what I'm saying? But you did the best thing you could do for you at that particular time. And that's all we can do. But moving forward, you know what I mean? I hope you never have to do that again, you know? And
I'm not, because you know what I mean? I learned
a lot of things for us, you know what I mean? We do the best that we can because we don't live in a perfect world. We really don't. So it's easy for me to say, like, that's not the best way, but that is the way you had to get it done. You know, like I had to start my business using a credit card. That ain't the best way. You know what I'm saying? But it worked. You know, so, but it worked. But you know, if you really think about it, what's the return on the investment? I spent $3,000. You know what I mean? And here I am, 25 years later. So, but because most of
That's what you
mine,
call intuition. That's that power from within us. Something you just can't get it out of a book.
right?
That's that original.
That's that grit, man. I work
Yes.
hard. I work hard.
And
You
that's
know
what
that.
the AI trying to take away from us too. Us as
That's
each
right.
individual
That's
human
right.
beings, we are natural thinkers, and they can't really replicate that part. You know, they can
That's
put
right.
programs into computers, but it's our intuition and our
That's right.
spirit
I
in
will
us.
never, ever, like, they have portfolio computers. Like there's that actually try to do what I do. But that computer will put you into a corner. Like I could take a portfolio, and when I know that particular client, I take the portfolio and I tailor it to my client. If everybody were only going into my portfolios through the portal that picks the portfolio for you according to your risk score, you know me, it'll do all right, but it won't do as well as when I'm, like you said, bring in
Exactly.
my actual intelligence
Exactly.
and make it right for you. And according to research, it says that people, even though they call it robo advising is up, that people prefer to have someone to talk to. So and someone to work through. But like there's just things like I'm working with a client now on should she refinance or should she not? Every refi is different, but the loan officer will tell you that it's all about the interest rate, but it's not. I look at your existing loan, how it's broken down, how many years you've been in it, everything. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make sure that you're very careful about these things and these offers that are coming out. Just like with a car purchase, and they say no interest and we'll give you this and we'll give you that and this and that. They'll have you all excited. You know, don't get excited. Never get excited. You know what I'm saying? Never get excited when you're talking about going into debt.
You're right.
Always, that's right, Chris. Always be calm. Never let your emotions get involved when you're talking about debt. We're not even supposed to be in that position. So but y'all have a great night. Thank you.
You too.
Jimmy,
Good night.
Jimmy,
Good night.
Jimmy, Jimmy was our star
You have a good
tonight.
night.
The co-stars were the Joes.
I enjoy it.
Love y'all guys. Love y'all guys.
Love
Love
you
you all.
back.
Okay.
Love
Take care.
y'all.
Good
Love
night.
you, love you, love you. Y'all are good people.
May I say one thing before we go?
Yes, Mr.
You
Hollis, please.
listening?
The decisions that you make can affect you for the rest of your life.
Amen.
That's
You
right.
hear me?
Man.
You hear
Exactly
me?
right.
And
JB,
that's,
can I call you in the morning? This is
please,
Chris. Okay.
please. And that's a grown man, Mr. Hollis, telling you. Y'all better listen to what he said.
Right.
I want all of y'all to put your pictures into your Zoom app. So I want more than your name. If you won't let me get your video, at least get your name. I mean, get your picture. Y'all
I'll
are
get to
handsome,
it.
good-looking people. You know,
Not tonight.
y'all are. So put the picture up. Go into the app and then
Not-
put that profile picture up. Laura's
I
got
sure
hers.
will. I sure will. I don't look my age. I sure will.
Oh, Jimmy.
What's
Yeah, let's
JB?
look. Let us determine that, right? We're gonna determine it.
JB, this is Chris. What time can I call you tomorrow?
You can call tonight. Just leave it, and I'll make sure Janiyah gets us set up.
Okay.
Go ahead and call.
Okay.
All right, sis. All
Okay,
right.
thanks.
So you
Good
won't
night.
forget. Good night, everybody. Y'all
Good
let
night.
Good night.
take care.
Good night.
Good night. Yes, indeed.
Good night.
Good night, sweetie.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All the best.